Welcome everyone to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I am a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It is my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to this week's episode of the Better Love Movement podcast. So we are in episode number 163, and it is entitled, What You Need to Know to Determine If a Man Will Commit. Today, I am talking to Coach Paula Grooms. Let me tell you a little bit about Paula. Coach Paula Grooms is a dating and relationship coach, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. Via her international coaching program, podcast, and YouTube channel, Coach Paula helps women all around the world to create and keep the committed relationships they desire and deserve. Welcome, Coach Paula.
Hi, Anita. So nice to be with you.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, I found your platform on Instagram, and I absolutely love the content. We are of like minds. I immediately purchased your book after a follower of mine introduced me to it, and wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, so, good. I like hearing that.
This is going to be a great conversation.
Yes.
So tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, you kind of said it all there. I am a dating and relationship coach. I have written that book. I'm working on another that you're going to like. And I do a podcast, which is real life coaching conversations I have with women who come to me with a real issue they're having. That's called Make Him Wonder. And then, of course, I have I'm a licensed social worker, and I understand how to work with people in the way that I do. And I work solely with women, and I help them create and then keep the relationships that they want and take them to commitment, because ultimately I believe as women, that's what we all want.
I agree.
And deserve.
Sure.
Yeah.
And right now, in 2022, we are in a unique point in time because we are seeing this huge shift in dating, in relationships. And I mean, I could talk about this forever. There's so many reasons for that. But I believe that women are more frustrated than ever right about now. So I hope that, they're going to get a copy of this. They're going to read it. They're going to apply it. That's the most important part.
Yes.
Because application.
It's so true. Information is not application,
right?
And application is not transformation.
There you go. Okay, so let's jump right in. I love that puppy principle that you speak of in your book. It's a wonderful analogy about how men feel about us women. Can you speak to that? Share about that with my listeners?
Sure. I'll tell you a little bit, in a nutshell what it is. We as women, generally speaking, we love puppies. We are drawn to their cuteness, their energy, everything about them is kind of wondrous to us, and we just want to be around them.
Oh yes.
And whether it's puppies or kittens or whatever it is for each woman, generally speaking, that's what it is. And this is how men feel about us. So exactly how you feel about watching puppy videos and pictures, right? And seeing them and just being with them, and the wondrous feeling you get when with them, the warm fuzzies. This is what men feel when they are with us, when they see us, when they're around us en masse in a group or just one-on-one. And there's something cute, wonderful, alluring about each and every one of us, from the teeniest, tiniest Chihuahua to the biggest Mastiff there is, right? It is all manner of every color, coat, everything about, right? And so we have to understand that because men feel about us in this way, it's the same way that we have to be in the right place in our lives, right time, right everything to commit and adopt a puppy in the same way that a man needs to be all together and right to commit to us. And this is because of the foundational thing that, yes, you love all puppies, but to adopt one, you must have your finances together. You must be in the right environment according to how you see a puppy ownership to be. In other words, some of us are okay with going to the shelter, getting a little loved one, no matter what it is, and putting it out in the backyard with its own house of straw, and that's it. And we give them whatever scraps and alcohol. Some of us are like that. Others are more towards the, no, I gotta have the Gucci bag and the Gucci collar and and the little princess bed and everything for it, right? So it's all on a scale. But generally speaking, it's the responsibility we're committing to. That is the thing. And this is how men view a commitment. I have my gender gaps in my book. You've probably read that. One is, we see commitment as a natural outgrowth of love. We just bond through time and sex. And when we're in love, we just commit. That's it. There's no question. There's no thought. There's nothing about it. Men view commitment as a responsibility. And when we get this via the puppy principle and understand that he loves you, yes, he does. It doesn't mean he's in a state of being where he's ready, willing, and able to take it on as responsibility. And here's where some of women, we go, well, wait a minute. I make my own money. I do my own thing. I'm not anybody's responsibility necessarily, right? It doesn't matter, because it's how the men view it. A good man will always look at it as a responsibility. And we don't want to stop them from doing that. Right? Because there may be puppies that come from us as a puppy that he's got to take responsibility for.
That's right.
Super, super important. Yes. So that's the puppy principle in a nutshell. And that leads to my consumer versus buyer, understanding of where he is. And women can take a test, the consumer versus buyer relationship test. They can take that at makehimwonder.com and take that test to know if your guy vis-a-vis you is ready, willing, and able to commit.
Right. So a couple of things jumped into my head. So what I love about the puppy principle is, and this is another thing that women need to understand, just like I love puppies, but there is a specific puppy that I'm in the market for. So right now my pug is getting older and I'm actually in the market for a French bulldog. So sometimes I have to explain to women, there may be a specific type of puppy that he prefers. And so don't feel a way about that. Like if you are a German Shepherd and he wants a Chihuahua, that doesn't make you any less valuable or any less wanted. It's just he's in the market for a Chihuahua and you're a German Shepherd. Like that's it.
Yes. And I put a caveat on that just a bit because here's the thing that, so he wants a Chihuahua, but you're the German Shepherd type. So he gets involved with you because of course he loves German Shepherds too. Yeah. Right. So he gets involved with you and now your heart is in it and you want this particular man. Right. This is what I help women get to the point of perhaps getting commitment from him, because it doesn't mean just because you're not his breed that he won't. And it really does not.
Okay.
It is what you do. Women think so much it's who we are. It's more the feeling we give them. Because here's the deal. If you spend enough time with that German Shepherd, now you may love Chihuahuas and you love that they're a lap dog and they're funny and whatever thing, you feel about little Chihuahuas, and they're teeny tiny, right? But say you spend some time with a really, like a soulful German Shepherd. And, yes, it's got the hair issue, right? And, and it's bigger and all that, but you love it. You see, if it really endears itself to you, you could be swayed. Right. Now, it just depends. Again, some people will and some won't. Right. But every woman who has her heart, every German Shepherd, so to speak, who has her heart with that particular guy, we need to try to go for it and see if he will get there. Okay. And I believe you can at least see, and that's what I work with women in my programs, to get to the place of seeing and the knowing through, the objectivity of working with someone, like us, but also understanding that there are particular approaches. That's what's next in my next book. Because you really can, you want to always know, I did everything possible. Right. Because if you walk away and you feel I didn't, do it right, then you're going to have regrets and questions, and it's harder to move on. Right. For sure. Okay, let's jump into the two types of men, consumers and buyers. How would a woman know if a man was in the consumer stage or the buyer stage? Right. Well, this is why I have the test. But, the criteria is it's pretty well, and you being a therapist, you will understand the criteria, meeting criteria, that to the degree the person meets the criteria. The first and foremost is the man's vocation. How does he feel about that? Where is he on the scale of his need to achieve? Right. So, some men, they get their job, they know it's going to be, they can live out the 30 years doing that job, and they get the gold watch and they're, done, and they make their, little raises as it goes on, and they're fine. Right. Other men know. I have this plan, I'm going to meet this goal, and then I'm going to meet the next, and I'm going to be the CEO. And, it just depends where he is. Here's the significant thing. Does he believe he can get there with you by his side? Right. And we've lost a lot of that, I would say, in the last maybe 20 years. Right. Because people used to build together. Right. Yep. And that's what I don't like about this new modern day, everybody's so independent, and everyone has to work hard before they can. I'm just like, no. No, right? Where have we gotten to that place? Exactly. Yeah. So no, I get it. Yes. And tell us about the consumer. So, well, okay. So the criteria is, of course, vocation. Also in there is, finances. It's huge. And that's part of vocation sometimes. Right. Then it's also advocation. He may want to, before he takes on the responsibility, he may want to, do triathlons, in every country, or who knows what, right? But sometimes that plays into it. The other is the environment and his environmental goals. Like, before I commit to anybody, just like us with the puppies, right? You want the environment to be right. You're living with your parents still. something happened with my video. You see that?
Oh, yeah. It's flashing. That's odd.
Wi-Fi stuff, right?
Okay.
Got to deal with it.
Okay, there we go.
Yay!
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Oh, well, let's see. Maybe it's my moving or something.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not move. Okay. So, that also plays into it. Is his environment going to be right? And if he wants to own a house before, and here's the deal, you're not going to change his mind by talking about it. Right? One of the things in my book, remember, we relate via verbalization, men relate via action. It's what we do. Right. So that's an interesting thing. And that's a whole other, we could write a book on that.
Yeah.
So, right. So the most important thing is to scale your man. I have ultimate consumer, mixed messages consumer, prospective buyer, and bona fide buyer.
Right.
And when you take the test, at least you know where he is, again, because one woman's buyer can be another woman's ultimate consumer.
Right. That's right. The last gentleman that I dated was a mixed message consumer.
Okay.
And that relationship, we had a relationship for 2 years. And then I left that relationship because I got that impression that, okay, this is a mixed message consumer here. And then, he wooed me back. And for the next 2 years, was still like, he was enjoying the benefits of Anita, but could not become a bona fide buyer. So I walked away for good.
Yes, that's where at that juncture, whereby he's coming back, that's when you have your shot. And it's what you do. And what happens is, for most of us, and I'm sure you know this now, the fact that you take them back without the formal public commitment, because here's what we know via, I don't know if you know him, Bob Grant.
I do.
And this man, he had it right. And it was finding this premise was so eye-opening for me. It actually, then the book started, all the stuff that I'm talking about here started flooding in.
Yep.
Because when you get this and you understand that men only bond in one way,
right,
and that is through making a formal, and I put the caveat, formal public commitment.
Right.
That is the only way. And taking on the responsibility is the only way.
Right.
They bond to you. And that's like the puppy principle when you think about it. Because like I have a cute little puppy and, I've taken on the responsibility. So I've committed to her. But then, the difference is I might see another puppy like, wow, just as cute.
Right.
More well-behaved in a sense. We would like that, feature about that. No, I'm bonded to her.
Right.
Now.
That's right.
There's right. The difference.
Yep. For sure. Okay. So that leads us into one of the quotes from the book. This was a total epiphany for me. I realized this probably before I got married. No, it was after my divorce. I think that's when it hit me that this quote was true, even though I didn't have words to actually express it.
Yes.
So it says, time is not a factor in determining a man's readiness, willingness, or ability to commit. I know that we women, we have a special relationship with time because our very bodies are clocks.
That's right.
But men, not so much.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they will use up your time, right?
And they don't do it on purpose. They don't in any way try to hoodwink us in that way. Most typically, right? It's not that. It's that men, I say, you want to think about it this way. Men are on top of time. We're through time. We incorporate time. Men are on top of it, meaning it's right now. It's right. And when you think about it, this is biological because men are hunters.
Right.
And they can, they're going to be in the woods and they're going to wait and have this. I mean, think about what fishing is, hunting is, right? I mean, for most women, it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's sitting there and wait for what?
Yeah,
I don't know
have the
what
patience.
it is, right? But that's, again, men, everything they do is through wonder. And you see, right then is when they will act. It's why you're going to get so much interest. It's one of the components why you're going to get so much interest right at the very beginning, right? He is most interested in you. And I say interested, not love.
Right.
This is not love.
Right.
He's most interested in you before he's ever had sex with you.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Listen, ladies. I want you to listen. That's right there. That's the clip.
Yes.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
So you're right, Anita. Time is not a factor at all to men. So it is why you're living with him and you think, well, it's been 2 years. It's been a year. It's this and no.
Doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't matter to him. Time is not it at all.
Nope.
It's the criteria of being ready, willing, and able to adopt, commit, right?
Right.
Yeah, because time is not a factor for us. It's like we can say, someday I'm going to adopt a puppy. Someday. It's something you want.
Right.
But you're not in any way. And here's another analogy for you vis-a-vis the puppy principle that you'll get. So if you happen to open your back door and there's a little stray, cute as hell, little stray, and you let him in, you give him a bath, and it's just wonderful, and you even sleep with him, and you have him, and you just let him out again because you got to go to work,
right?
And then he starts coming back, right? And you're feeding him dinners, and you are, again, taking him in,
right,
playing with him, maybe sleeping, and then you see, oh, well, you know what? He's just fine. He looks like he stays out back and he's just okay. You open the door every day.
Yep.
You have no thought of committing because you haven't made the decision to adopt.
Right.
Now you're thinking about it sometimes like, I wonder if that's my puppy.
Right.
Well, I really had the idea. It's a little too big. I wanted something smaller, put in my bag. Or maybe it's a little too small. I like a bigger dog.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. But through time, right? And year after year, it goes by. And it's all fine. You're getting all your love needs met. It's just fine.
Yep.
So time is not a factor. So this is what I call it and it's a video I have on YouTube. I call it my girlfriend law of diminishing returns.
Oh boy.
Stay. It means nothing. And you can't bring that up later. It's been a year. It's been 2 years. Where's this going? What are we doing? Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Here's another one that's a golden, just remember this. If you are staying, no matter what you are saying, you are okaying whatever is going on.
That's it. That's it. And I've said that umpteen times, not that way, but I let women know, just like we said earlier, a man's language is doing, not talking.
That's it. There you go. That's another way to say it.
What are you going to do? Okay, because you bringing up is just like you said, bringing it up or talking. Like a man's like, okay, But when you back up that U-Haul and your things are going in it, he's like, what? Wait a minute, what's happening? Yeah.
And then it's what you do after that's going to determine that space after the breakup is the most significant. If you want him back, it's really what I specialize in for women, because what you do then is so significant. It's where almost all of us have been through going awry.
That's
absolutely
it. I know I have. I have. So
many,
now,
excuse me. Yep.
Okay, so let's discuss core principle number 5, as I think it's very important for my ladies to understand.
Okay.
So it's just like we were just speaking about. So it reads, time, attention, devotion, and great sex will increase the possibility of getting a commitment from a woman who is resistant to being in a committed relationship.
Mm-hmm.
However, time, attention, devotion, and great sex will diminish the possibility of getting a commitment from a man who is resistant to being in a committed relationship. So quite the opposite.
Everything's opposite, right?
Yep.
Yin yang, night, day, sun, rain, on, off, stop, go, male, female.
Yep.
Yeah, it just is. Yeah.
So listen to that, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
All of your time, all of your attention, your devotion, and your great sex. The longer that goes on, that diminishes the possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So women really
watch my video, Girlfriend Law of Diminishing Returns.
Right.
It's serious. And, but then women think, well, I've already said it, and then what of my alternatives? A breakup is actually such an opportunity for you to get that commitment if you do it in a step-by-step fashion that leads him to get into his deeper feelings, loss, and any amount of talking will get you nowhere.
That's it.
Nowhere.
So, ladies, you got to listen. You've got to listen to this. And women want so badly, for things to be different. Like when they hear these things about men, like, no, because it doesn't work that way with us. They are not us.
I know. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure you get this, Anita, and I get it all the time on my Instagram, that I'll put something out there that is about, the difference. And we will say, well, what about, they want the opposite. Like, well, what about us? So for example, I put something out there that, really will need to do something in order to, to have the man that we want.
Right.
And then invariably someone will write, well, what about them doing something in the same fashion, to get us? It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. They're not going to do that. Again, if it's not about pursuit of you, that's when they'll do.
Right.
That's when they'll do. But once you've had sex in a relationship, it's very different. And this is where women go off the rails.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that my platform, and I've taken a lot of heat for this, however, I stand firm. But my platform does support a level of abstinence that we want to see. We want to see with our eyes, what a man's true intention is for us. And in my mind, the best way to do that is to abstain. Like just to show up fabulous, look good, be feminine, but to abstain, to not jump into bed with him right away.
Yes, it's certainly a component of the rules. It's certainly, but I have found that here's what really it is, because so many women that will come to me and say, oh God, I had sex on the second date, sometimes even the first. I've had, and now we're having this relationship. I'm doomed. No. It's not exactly when you have sex. It's what you do after.
Right.
And the problem is that, and you have to know yourself in this way. If you are somebody that changes, just to your deepest core, you change the moment you have sex with somebody, you must be waiting, not only because it is better. Sure. Right. Anita, you're absolutely right. If we want to gamble, we're going to gamble on someone who's waited over someone who had sex on the first date in terms of, in terms of the woman getting what she would like in the end. And that's why we do wait, because if you, and here's the interesting component about it, that you see, when a woman's not as into him, he's into her the most he can be in terms of interest prior to having sex. She's not until after.
Precisely. That's
And
precisely.
again, there's that difference rearing its ugly head. And so what happens is, for a lot of women, it's like, I just wanted to have fun with him. I just wanted to have sex.
Mm.
And I did. And then sure enough, now, and then they do it again and they do it again. By the third time, you're in.
Right.
If you like him enough,
Right.
and you have sex with him, you're going to bond.
That's it.
And he's not.
That's
Men do not bond. It's one of my, gender gaps. They do not bond through time and sex.
That's right.
At all. And
so I want women to just accept that. Like they keep fighting against that.
Yes, yes. And I have to say, I did for the better part of my life. 20s, 30s, I absolutely did. Yeah. It cannot be this way because it's not fair.
Right. Here we go. Yep.
And then you realize, no, it is not. And I mean, if we could choose, I always say, if I could have chosen my gender at birth, definitely would have been male.
Okay.
Hey, easier. Yeah. Maybe not as interesting. Right. Not as full. And many men will say this. I have a transgendered friend who says that it was from male to female. And, she says the world of women is infinitely more interesting.
It is. It is.
Right.
But for me, I am feminine to my core. I believe that as a feminine woman, I have all the power. Like I wield all the power. I wield the reproductive power. I wield, I have the power, and I've always told women this, I have the power to meet and marry a man, and that man take care of me and my offspring and pay all my bills. I lived it. I sat at home and was married to a doctor. And my college girlfriends who were out there in the workforce and they were working 60, 70 hours a week, they loved talking about how oppressed I was, that I was a stay-at-home wife and mother.
Oh, that's so unfair.
And look, I said, really? So I live in a big, beautiful home in a gated community. I drive a brand new BMW and get my hair and nails done and take naps in the middle of the day. And I don't pay for any of it. I wonder who's oppressed. And they started to think like, wait a minute.
Right. No, and it's not fair because everybody to each his own. And that's the beauty of today is that you can make that choice, but we can't as women impugn somebody else for their choice. Right. Let's not do that as women. That's absolutely, and there's no more important a job than being a mother.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Right? No more important. So great that you got to do that. And anybody who can have that happen, if it's something that they want, and I believe, of course, they can, that's wonderful.
Right.
So,
for sure.
Yeah. So we shouldn't be doing that as women. Whatever you'd like to do, you can make the choice to do, but you can't have it all. Right. And that's the difference is that, how could you couldn't have that and be the CEO of your own company.
No.
Right? I mean, just by virtue of, you're going to be home and you're going to have someone take care of you.
Right.
Well, it doesn't. So that's what I mean about have it all.
Right.
Yes. If you want to be a working woman and have that committed, wonderful relationship with a man, you absolutely can have that. But the whole thing about, then take naps in the middle of the day and do your nails and have no, that's right.
But I have had it all. And what I explain to women is how I did that is I did it in stages. So there was a stage in which I was married to a doctor, had 3 children, stayed at home with them. I did that for 12 years.
Right.
And my children got older. Now I am the CEO of my own business. I own 2 businesses, but my children are grown. So, I just tell women, you're going to have to do it in piecemeal fashion.
Yes. And I like that. I like that caveat on it. Yes, you can have. I know. And I look over my life, same thing. I've had so many different amazing experiences and wonderful. Yeah, and you can. And I think that's what's lost really on young women.
Right.
I always say the most important thing, if you are now, you're between 25 And I mean, 35 is even a little late. You must decide. You have to look back. You have to be, am I going to be, when I'm 85, what do I want to have had? How am I going to feel if I don't have children?
Right.
You've got to make that early on, because women think, oh, well, I can have kids up until 45. Sure, you can, maybe physically. That's not how men look at it. That's right.
They don't. I've made that similar post where I told women, I'm 54 and I'm very proud of my age. I tell it all the time.
Wonderful.
But I say to women, one day you're going to wake up and be 54. And I really want you to think about what your life will look like at that age. I feel incredibly blessed that I have the life of my dreams. I really do.
Nice.
I have work that I'm passionate about. My children are grown. They're great kids. I have a beautiful home. I have my puppy. I have my kitty, my garden. Like, oh my gosh, I love my life.
Fantastic.
However, like you said, I tell a lot of younger women the same thing. So think about what you want at 54 and reverse engineer it. So what choices would you have to make now that would lead you to that life at 54?
I can't even tell you how many women come to me wanting coaching in their late 30s, early 40s, and sometimes beyond. And they say, okay, I want to find a guy and have kids. And unfortunately, you see, men, because of the puppy principle,
right?
It's when they think of it, if you're looking for a doggy, say you're looking for a doggy to have puppies with, are you going to adopt an older, like 6, 7, 8-year-old doggy? Or are you going to adopt a puppy, have a little while with that puppy, and then starting puppies? And unfortunately, this is how men look at it.
Yeah.
And it's, yes, they may fall in love with you, but if you have been waiting, it's really something you must think about it early on.
That's right.
And then you have to make it a goal.
That's right. That's right.
I know. Unfortunately, right?
I know I did. At
Good
20, I woke up at 26 and I said, you know what? I need to prioritize getting married.
Oh my God, I love that, Anita.
I really did. I said, I need to prioritize marriage and family. Now, I didn't meet my husband until I was 30, but I did I made that shift, and that's what women aren't doing.
I know.
They're not even
hurts us.
That's it. They're not batting an eye until 35. And I'm like, what? They're like, oh, I got time. I'm like, okay.
Yes. And I understand it. I do. I get it. However, because the men don't look at it like that, when they go out looking for, remember, now they're in a state of being a prospective buyer, right? Now they're in a state, meaning they've got their, their vocation kind of, okay, I'm kind of, get that under control. I did all my traveling. I did the, triathlons. I'm buff now, or whatever it is that he wants to do. Right. And then I got a house. Okay. Now I'm ready to fill it with a puppy and puppies.
Right.
He doesn't go looking, generally speaking, he goes looking, just like we said, younger, to have maybe a year or two with that puppy, and then start to have puppies. It's so, is it fair? Absolutely not. Is life fair?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
You have to make those hard choices. I was one of those fortunate. I knew from the time I was 17 years old, I did not want to have children.
Okay.
So I was as free as a man.
Okay.
I knew absolutely that was not for me.
Right.
So but that's another hard road.
Yeah.
Very hard road in terms of men. And if you are in that state, that's its own difficulty.
Right.
Because especially in your 20s and 30s, yes, a man may stay with you for years and years and then time to have puppies.
Right.
See you later. And
Yeah.
actually, it happened to me.
Yeah.
I was married 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because when we, it just, this is something you have to be as a woman. It has to be first and foremost in your mind.
Right.
Do I want children? And I bet,
Right.
Anita, tell me, did that, I would assume that also directed you to what type of man?
Oh, for sure. I was dating musicians and artists until I was 26. And then I was like, nope. And married a doctor.
There you go.
Yeah. I was like,
yes. 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 Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And those choices are so important.
They are.
Because yes, I bet you loved and they loved you, the artists and the musicians and so forth. But, and maybe they will have children and, but you have to decide, okay, do I want the lifestyle?
Right. That's precisely right. I knew that I was like, these men cannot afford for me to stay home. Like they're going to need me to work. And I didn't want that. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Yes. These choices are so important.
They are.
And yes. So yeah, I'm so happy to have talked to you about it because I love being on the same page and having these great conversations. Mm-hmm. And because so many times I'm talking to somebody and they're like, really? No, I don't get it. So it's like great to talk to you because you're so like we're on the same page. It's great.
Yep. Well, thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation.
So nice.
So many great things came out of this conversation. I'm going to pluck out so many little snippets of audio. But I know my lady listeners are going to love this episode. So thank you so much for coming by and being on the podcast. Is there a product or a service that you'd like to tell us more about or that my listeners should go check out?
Well, again, I work as a coach and it is what I do. Many people, are in the space and they create content and but they don't actually do the work. I actually do the work of it and bring women to the point of engagement and marriage. And that's what I'm most about. It's what gives me the most fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And again, women come to me in different stages. I have an online dating program because people are meeting online. Mm-hmm. And it's just a facet now. I don't negate like, oh, you should only do online, right. But you need to do it organic. I call it organic and online, the two O's, to give you the best opportunity to meet. And my online dating program, I think is very important for people to get the system. It's 7 simple steps. Mm-hmm. And it's freed the clients who I have in the program to do it in a way that actually is less frustrating, less time consuming. It's less of a time suck. And they're meeting not a lot of men, the right ones who have again, under the guise of what are we looking for? What's our goal here? Right. And making the men setting them up to see you as someone different, right, than just, the masses online. So that's my one love, online to never ending love, 7 simple steps to digital dating success. And I have that as a self-help course that's so affordable, and you can just get it on my website, and then we can be talking, because this is part of it is an actual coaching experience with me, and then we go from there. And I do have a program for women who are looking to make it go the distance with the man that they're with, and then even if it's breaking up or has broken up, how we get that back. Okay. Great. Yeah. Oh, great resource. So in the show notes, ladies, I am going to list all the ways that you can connect with Coach Paula, and I'll find the link to that course. I'm also going to connect you with the video that she spoke about. I'm going to put that down below so you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for coming. It's so great to meet you. Ladies, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel where you may be watching this right now, please consider subscribing. Come into the fold, come into the family, hit the bell icon so you can be alerted whenever a new video or podcast episode comes out.
If you'd like more information about me, head over to my website, www.betterlovemovement.com. You can find out all about my products, my services, my coaching, the books that I've written. I'd love for you to go over there and check it out. Thank you, Coach Paula, again for joining us this week.
Well, I'm going to subscribe to you now. I absolutely will, and we'll see each other. And let's talk again.
Yes,
because it's just been great.
Awesome,
love
ladies. As always, stay open to love. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Better Love Movement podcast. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, please do so now so that you can be alerted every Monday when a new episode comes out. Please rate and review this podcast, as your ratings help me to grow the podcast and offer more free content to you. If you are watching this episode on YouTube, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up and share it if it brought you value. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the show, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also reach me on my website, www.betterlovemovement.com, to get more information on love mentoring and other services offered. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, stay open to love.